Evening, folks, and welcome to the match day preview for Sheffield Wednesday versus Leeds United on the road again. And joined by my co-host back this week is Andrew Stats. Dalton Stats, how you been, mate?
Yeah, thank you very much. Back to full health. Had a little bit of a chest infection. I was coughing quite badly last week. I missed the Middlesbrough game at Ellen Road. I wasn't quite up to full health for the West Brom game, but pleased to say I'm raring to go again, and a nice juicy Yorkshire derby to get our teeth into ahead of our third league game of the season away at Sheffield Wednesday tomorrow night.
And unbeaten in the league. That's the positive angle. That's the angle we're taking. We are unbeaten in our first two games, 1 point slightly better off than we were at this stage last season. Coming up against Sheffield Wednesday side, Stats who've had a mixture, you can say, to start the season.
Having watched them against Sunderland on Sunday, I thought they were awful. I thought they were 3-0 down in next to no time. Sunderland were absolutely brilliant, to tell the truth, and Sheffield Wednesday didn't have an answer to them. And it just shows that this league is bonkers. Sunderland, I think, have taken 6 from 6, beat Cardiff, and obviously beat Sheffield Wednesday. Plymouth, who lost 4-0, got a good point home to Hull City. Leeds are unbeaten, to put positive slant on it, from 2 from 2. So, yeah, I'm always positive, even with what's happened over the last week with the sale of Jorginho Ruta to Brighton and Hove Albion goes off in my best wishes. With all that happened, a point at the Hawthorns, I think, is not to be sniffed at, and a clean sheet as well, Jay. So, reasons to be positive. Next 8 days, I think, will tell us a lot of where we're heading. Hopefully, there'll be some more bodies through the door between now and this time next week, or ahead of the Hull City game, because the window closes, I think, is it 11 o'clock next Friday?
Next Friday.
I believe, before the Hull City game. So, yeah, I'm always positive, and I love to get my teeth into a big game and a big Yorkshire derby at Hillsborough tomorrow evening.
Yeah, and we do have a player hopefully coming in the door any minute now. We're just still waiting on final confirmation, but all indications from Sasha Tavaleri.
Well said.
Fucking hell. It suggests that it's done and dusted medical. We've seen photographs of him in training today on the bike, likely just going through his initial tests that they do to try and get his base levels, see where he's at. And then hopefully Largi Ramzani will be a Leeds United player by later on today. We don't know if it's been confirmed or not on paper earlier on today, but if the deal goes through before 12 noon today or earlier on today, the player is eligible to play tomorrow night against Sheffield Wednesday, although it's very unlikely he will be involved. Best case scenario is probably on the bench, but we'll probably get a look at him on the field next week at some stage anyway. So likely to come through the door and then into, as you say, an incredibly busy week ahead for Leeds United, looking at, by Daniel Farke's words, minimum of 3 players to come through the door. Done it before, has been done before. Yes. He did 5 in 7 days last year, so it can be done. Yes. As I said before, don't think it's the greatest strategy in the world to leave everything till the end, but if you can get some really good business done, then who are we to argue with that? And the proof of the pudding and everything else will be seen once the window closes. But history suggests they've done it before, they can do it again, and Largi Ramzani is a decent player to get in as a crucial midfield replacement, and will definitely add more options to what Daniel Farke is coming into in this game. Stats, because there we go.
Oh, you went then.
And you're back. Hello again. Daniel Farke will have more options coming to this game than he has had in the last 2 games anyway, Stats.
Yes, yeah, and I think this has to be a bit of patience. And I know fans look back at last season, the start that we made last season against Cardiff, Birmingham City, and West Bromwich Albion, and we're a point better off after 2 games this time round than we were this time last year, should I say. So I think it's positive, and I think things will happen. I've always been positive that things will happen. Transfers are a very difficult thing to do, especially if you've come off a player final defeat. Players were always going to go. Disappointing, obviously, that Archie Cree and Jorginho have gone, also with Glenn Kamara as well. But unfortunately, that is what we live in. In this day and age in football, with the money the Premier League clubs are offering, it is very difficult to turn down these deals. And if you're a player, you kind of want to test yourself at the best level, and that probably goes for the players that have left. So it does leave some holes, but one of them it looks like it's going to be filled by Largi Ramazani. Pronounce that right?
Ramazani.
And he's going to be, I think, I put on Twitter, I think the 15th player with a Z in the surname. The most recent, I believe, that made his debut was Matej Bogusz back in 2019.
Locking up goals in the MLS, by the way.
Absolutely, I've just seen that one. So, yeah, I think I don't judge an owner until the end of the transfer window, and we've still got 8 days to go yet. And I still think, in my opinion, things will happen. I think Farke is aware that things have to happen. I thought, again, he was bullish in his press conference.
Yep.
I think he'll be glad when the transfer window's over because he's probably fed up of answering all the questions about transfers. So, yeah, I think get through to the end of August. We know where we are. It's a long season. We've got 43 games left to play. We're still in single figures for games at the moment, and the season hasn't even started to settle down. There'll be so many twists and turns. A lot is going to happen. There's a lot of water to go through, many bridges, and I'm still very positive that there'll be a positive outcome come what may. I'm not going to say if we're going to be in the playoffs or on automatics, but I think you've got a manager there that certainly knows how to get out of this league, and I don't see last year as a failure. Okay, in a failure that we didn't go up, but to get 90 points was a freak season. That Ipswich and Leicester were just that little bit better than us, and unfortunately we didn't quite turn up on the playoff final day at Wembley. But that's done now, and we have to look forward. Obviously, we've got 2 big games coming up before the end of the transfer. Well, before the end of the month, before the first international break, and I think the international break will be a good time for Leeds. I know fans don't tend to like the international breaks, but I think this will give Farke an opportunity for the new players, whoever they may be, through the door to bed them in ahead of another big game against Burnley on the 14th of September. So reasons to be cheerful. The season is in its infancy. There's a lot of football to go yet. I think being out the league could probably do us a power of good, in all honesty. Yes, I didn't like the way they conceded the goals. However, it's done now, and we'll let Middlesbrough go and play Stoke City on Tuesday, Wednesday night. But we've got bigger fish to fry, and I think this season's got to be all about getting into the Premier League. And there's a lot of football, and I mean a lot of football. We're at the embryonic stage of a new season, so no panic from me. Very good point at the Hawthorns last week. I thought we defended really, really well. I thought Farke's tactics to stifle West Brom worked to a T, and to get a point away from home and a clean sheet with all that had happened the previous few days was a perfect point for me.
It was a chance to reset, to get the 0-0, get back to clean sheets, to get that base solid. He's talked an awful lot about basements and foundations over the course of pre-season. And I agree with what you've said there. I just think it was important to just stop what was happening at the back, calm everyone down. I still have concerns about some of the shape, and we'll get to the team selection in a minute, and we'll talk about midfield options, but I don't love the Ethan Ampadu playing in the centre of the park when dropping as deep as he is. I think it's causing Rodon and stroke issues as well. I'd rather see him play as a midfielder and stay in there, let them start the moves, and he can drop in when needed, but he's in there too often for me. But again, that will, I'm sure, be ironed out over the course of a couple of weeks. Absolutely. He hasn't played midfield in his season, most of the last season, so he's readjusting to that as well, and they'll still be finding their feet for the first couple of weeks of the season with competitive games, and I'm okay with that. So we'll see how it goes tomorrow. We'll get to the teams in a second, but just to give people an update on the Largi Ramzani deal, because people are asking what the deal is. According to Sasha Tavaleri, so this is unconfirmed, but from Sasha, who has been on point with this so far over the last few days, he says Largi Ramzani to Leeds United deal will officially be coming in the next couple of hours. He said the deal has been completed. An agreement between the clubs has been found. 7.7 million euro, which is 6.9-ish million pounds of a transfer fee, and 4 million euros worth of add-ons. Plus, there was a 15% sell-on clause in the player's deal as well. Leeds have taken him on a 4-year contract with another option for a 5th year should the club decide they want to activate that option at the end of the 4 years. Good age, bring him right up to his 30s as well. It'll be a good one to have. We'd have him for the best years of his career, essentially. So an interesting one to keep an eye on. No official announcement from the club yet, but as Sasha said, the coming hours, and he tweeted that just under an hour ago, so plenty of time to come on that. A few real quick questions just on what quality is Ramzani. He's come through the Anderlecht Academy. He's been at Manchester United's Academy. He's been at Charlton as well. He's done very well at Almeria. He's been described as not necessarily a like-for-like replacement for Somerville, but he does like to play on the left and come in onto his right foot. He wouldn't be as much of a step over merchant or tricks when he runs at you, but he can be very direct. And the information I've seen about him and what I've seen is he's clever and knows where to use his pace, and he's very, very quick. So you could have him and James either side of the park, two very fast wingers. So yeah, seems to be decent quality there. And on the Willie Nonto situation and stuff that popped up. So yeah, lazy journalism. We should address this. It was thrown out in a piece at the very end of Sasha Tavaleri's tweet yesterday where he said Nonto is still looking to go. All information we've got from Daniel Farke and conversations is that no player has asked to go. The bit to be careful of here is he did change agencies, and the agency he changed to was the same agency that Calvin changed to when he went to Man City. That agency is known for leaking out bits of information and trying to cultivate moves for players and get them their moves. So a lot of this noise could be just coming out from his agency trying to get a move or entice a bid for the player. But right now there isn't any. There's rumours that Wolverhampton Wanderers are putting in a £3 million bid for the player, but that'll be knocked back straight away and we just move on from that. It's crazy. So at the moment, it's a lot of noise. It's a lot of noise, as is Roland Silai as well. There's a bit more noise around Roland Silai from Freiburg. Graham Smith and Joe Donoghue today said Leeds do like him, and he is apparently on a list. So we'll have to wait and see if that materializes into anything. But it's going to be a busy week. We've got a lot of stuff to get stuck into next week. We've got football as well. So yeah, on the window so far, are you starting to relax a bit now? Stats you saw player come in.
I've always been relaxed because I've seen it all before, and transfers are very difficult to get over the line. It's not just a case of it was in the 1980s, 1990s. Pick up the telephone, here's your agent. I want to move to Club A, Club B, Club C. Transfers take time. And because of the way it's done with the analytical department and the recruitment department, everyone's got to meet on the same page. So if you like this player, this player, this player, it's not just a question of ring up, put bid in, etc. You got to go and watch the player, got to go and scout the player. So there's a lot that goes into a transfer. So I've never been one of these supporters that is panicked on social media and calling this, calling that. I've always been very calm. I've always been very relaxed. Players will come because I'm fairly certain that Farke is aware of the situation, and we've still got 8 days to go. Yes, you kind of alluded to it's not the best strategy, but if you have to wait for those players, then so be it. And in my opinion, I think a few more will come through the door by sort of 10, 11 o'clock next Friday.
Yeah, and as we keep saying, when they're done, they're done, and then that'll be it. So we'll have to wait and see. But we're going into a game stats where points are needed, because that will also calm everyone down a little bit. Just getting some points on the board. An away win against a Yorkshire rival, best way to cheer everybody up is to put 3 points away from them at Hillsborough. On the team news stuff, Lee's looking pretty healthy. Max Ferber is the only one that's got a slight doubt. He's a doubt with a calf problem. And then from a Sheffield Wednesday perspective, Ben Hamer, goalkeeper, has a finger injury, but outside of that, they've got a full bill of health with some players coming back as well. And then I think some comments from Danny Roll this week. He's kind of bigged it up a little bit, reckons it's going to be a banger of a game. It usually is, but he said there'll be a raucous atmosphere at Hillsborough. Has also commented on Leeds' £160 million team, which I'm not quite sure the maths adds up to anymore. Maybe a couple of weeks ago. Not so much now, but that's just from the top. Looking at Sheffield Wednesday, where's your head at with us going up against them and what they'll bring to this game?
I have to admit, Danny Rolls did a magnificent job at Hillsborough. He came in last year. They were a bit of a mess. I think they had Darren Moore that they got rid of. Then they had the former Watford manager that didn't quite work out, and he lasted 5 minutes. And then Danny Roll came in, and I think he's done an unbelievable job, because when he came in, they were staring League One football in the face. And I think he's done a brilliant job to get where they were. They're absolutely brilliant against Plymouth on the opening weekend, and then showed the bad side, and they never got going against Sunderland last time out. They've still got sort of Barry Bannon, that's kind of the enforcer, the basically the conductor in the centre midfield. I still think they've got some very, very good players. It'll be a tough game for Leeds. It's never an easy game down at Hillsborough, especially on a Friday night. It will be a wonderful atmosphere in FW6 tomorrow. So, it's a game we're all looking forward to. Do love a good Yorkshire derby, and it will be a very, very tough encounter. But Leeds went there in a bit of different circumstances last year. I think to make it 9 in a row, and they won there by 2 goals to Paddy and Willie Nonto got the goals. So I'm hoping it'll be a similar game as last season. But Yeah, it's always a tough game down. They've had many a good battle with Sheffield Wednesday. So, yeah, very much looking forward to it. And it will be a very tough encounter for Leeds.
Yeah, it will be. It's never an easy game going to the Hawth. Oh God, I keep saying the Hawthorns. That was
Well,
last
the
week.
Hillsborough.
Head out of last week. We're in Hillsborough now. Yeah, it's never an easy one going to Hillsborough. Again, because the atmosphere will be aggressive. It'll be a tough place. But we can do our best. And we're at our best when our backs are against the wall. At least we were last year. So 3 points tomorrow puts Leeds in a much better position when they came out of August last year. So it'd be nice to get that on the board. But again, you just don't want to lose points at this stage of the season.
No.
So if you can pick up even a point, again, they've had a very strange, with a lot of goals in their games so far for defensive and attacking perspective. So things that Leeds need to be mindful of as well. Going to the form guide, going to this, and it seems strange because it is, as you said, single digit numbers for games played so far. But Leeds currently sitting 15th in the championship. Our position, our home. I was wondering why I felt cozy and warm all week because we're sitting in 15th place where we made it our own. 2 draws so far, 1 point from each game, and a tidying up of things at the back in the last game. There was a lot of things I was happy to see. I watched it back without the emotion a couple of times, and you see I thought Rodon and Stroke were a little bit better together in centre back, a bit calmer. I thought Ampadu and Gruev were closer together more often. Still needs to fix bits of it, but in general, we're getting better. We now need to be able to push that forward and link up the play and get the front players into this. Sheffield Wednesday sitting in 9th, 1 win, 1 loss from their 2 games. We've talked about that 4-0 win against Wayne Rooney's Plymouth and a 4-0 defeat away to Sunderland. So on the road, not great. At home, seem to be fine, but there's a lot of things to be careful of with this Sheffield Wednesday team. They can score goals. They have done it. They did it in the cup as well. So Leeds will need to be tidy at the back. Stats going to show your team selection up for the game, and I have to go and agree with you again this week. We planned this to put different versions of this up every week, but I've agreed with you when we've done this so far. So talk us through your team. Talk us through where your head's at.
Yeah, obviously same back 5. Rodon and Stark did a really, really good job against West Bromwich Albion. I've gone for Joe Rothwell in place of Ilya Gruev for tomorrow night's game. I thought Rothwell, certainly against Middlesbrough in a defeat, and even when he came on against West Brom, showed some really neat touches. He's a different kind of player to Ilya Gruev, and he's a bit more forward thinking, and that's something against Gruev. I thought he does a really good job in what he does do. And then I've kind of gone with a number 10 role. It's difficult with Joel Piroux because he's not a 10, he's a striker. And that's the role he played at Swansea. And that's where he's got a lot of goals. And I think he gets a lot of unfair criticism. But at the moment, it feels like it's a little bit of a scapegoat for a lot of Leeds United supporters. And for me, I'd just take him out the firing line and bring him off the bench if needs be. So I've kind of gone Brendan in that number 10 role with a bit of energy. And then obviously you've got Willie Nanto, Don James and Mateo Joseph up top. So I've made a couple of team changes. Rothwell in for Gruev and Aronson in for Piroux. It'll be very interesting to see how Farke goes tomorrow at 7 o'clock when the teams do come out. As I say, Piroux, it just doesn't work for him at number 10, and that's not being negative. He's scored a lot of goals for Leeds in a lot of important games, especially penalty against Preston North End back in January to win us that game. He's also scored a lot of important goals. I think got one against Ipswich on his debut as well last season. But if you play him in number 9, I think he will get more goals. And I would like to see Mateo Joseph hopefully get on the score sheets because I thought he's worked his socks off for his last 2 games. But I think just having Brendan in there, and I think he probably deserves an opportunity, got his head down as well as Brendan Aronson, and it gives us a little bit more energy as well. So that's my 11. I might be right, I might be wrong. I'm not the manager at the end of the day, just my opinion.
I agree, though. I agree with an awful lot what you've said. I think Rothwell gives you that pushing from midfield that can link the play. Aronson will give you more energy in there than Piroux. And I do agree with you on Joel Piroux. And I felt sorry for Rodrigo when he was in this situation at Leeds. Bought as a number 9 and then asked to play out of position and then criticised because he wasn't good enough in that position. And then when Rodrigo finally got a run of games as a striker in the season, we got promoted. He finished up the Leeds top goal scorer that year and had a fantastic season when he played up top. And once he, Grant was with him, Joe Piroux is not a number 10. He's not. And judging him as a number 10 is unfair, but unfortunately, it's the situation that he's in right now, but he's not. And I think a lot of people the fact that people say it out loud, and I've listened to a lot of people say it, Joe Piroux, probably the same problem as as Rodrigo, and then go on to criticize him the same way they criticized Rodrigo. It's like, well, he's not playing in his natural position. That's like putting Pascal Stroke in midfield and complaining that he doesn't get enough goals from midfield. Do you know what I mean? He's not a midfielder. So there's a lot of things there. We're missing players. We've got to make do with what we've got.
Yes.
The one thing about last week was I didn't think Daniel Farke's rationale for playing him there cut the mustard. I think saying something along the lines of I owed him. Based on what we saw last year, we've been through this. We don't owe anybody anything at this stage. It didn't work this time last year. It didn't work in the middle of the season last year, and it's not working this year. So I think we know that if we've got somebody else, and Brendan should be up to speed at this stage, why not put him in and give him the minutes in there to be more mobile? But as a lot of people have said, I think it'll be the same team as last week.
You're probably right, yeah. I just don't want Pirro to become the scapegoat if that is the case.
Yeah.
Because we win as a team, we lose as a team, we draw as a team. We're Leeds United at the end of the day. It doesn't have to be a scapegoat every week. And obviously, we're not paying the big bucks. I wish we were. Pay the big bucks.
Contrary to rumours, we're not sponsored by Red Bull.
Absolutely. That's why Farke is a manager, and we just have our opinions. But we shall see the team come. It's a 3 o'clock kickoff tomorrow. 8 o'clock kickoff tomorrow night, isn't it? I believe.
Yeah.
Hillsborough. So teams will be out at 7 p.m. and it'll be interesting to see what the team news is. But we shall see. But again, I'm very, very much looking forward. I love a Yorkshire derby. It really does get the mouth watering as well. So yeah, bring on Sheffield Wednesday. Let's hopefully get that first win of the season.
Yeah, we'll get into the stats around the game, but real quickly, because there was other news today, the away kit, or the third kit was launched, which is not dissimilar from the pattern on your t-shirt right now. Leeds have said it is inspired, I worked in marketing for far too long, but inspired by the topography of Yorkshire. I'm not quite sure the hills in Yorkshire roll exactly like that. But I think it's a lovely shirt, Stats. I think it's a really nice shirt.
What are the actual colours on it? Is it navy blue?
It's a navy blue, or there's a different name for it. I think it's a hint of purpley kind of in it as well.
Yes.
But it's that pink badge, and then the wavy lines are green, purple, and blue, and mint.
Lovely.
So
lovely.
The mint is becoming a fast part of Leeds' colour scheme. Over the last 5 years, there's been either mint training gear, mint in the gear, or last season's away kit was mint and navy. So
yes,
there's mint in this as well. So yeah. That's what it looks like. And apparently we could be wearing this tomorrow night.
That'd be a colour clash, wouldn't it? If that's
what I would have thought as well. But I would have thought the yellow, but then apparently they've got yellow in their gear this year.
Oh,
I haven't seen Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm just thinking if we wear that tomorrow night in with the lights. Oh God, that could. Then again, we played in pink last year, didn't we? I think at Sheffield.
We did play pink last year. Yeah.
I do wonder if we might play it if that's why they brought it out 2 days before the Sheffield Wednesday game. But yeah, hopefully the players can see it because there's a great story that when we had the green and navy blue kit back in the 90s, we played Bolton in an FA Cup tie on Valentine's Day 96. We actually won the game 1-0, and Wilco goes into the dressing room, I think at half-time or full-time, and basically said to the kit manager, get rid of the kit, the players can't see each other. So by the time I think we next played an away game, we had a new all-yellow away kit. We didn't wear that green and navy blue kit. So we played Coventry City on the last day of the season, which was a 4 o'clock kickoff. So yeah, it has happened. Obviously, you've got the old Man United story where they played the grey shirts against Southampton in April '96, and Fergie blamed the players because they couldn't see each other, even though it was a sun-shining day on the south coast.
Listen, grey and green are notoriously clash with each other. You know, they cancel each other out all the time. You know, very similar colours.
I think Fergie likes looking at excuses, didn't he, all the time? So, hey, but yeah, another very, 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 very good kit from Leeds United. And if they are in it tomorrow, I look forward to them wearing it tomorrow night at Hillsborough and hopefully getting a victory in an away kit.
Yeah, Joe Donoghue, by the way, is popping on to TalkSport at 7:30 to have a chat about Leeds and transfers and what's going on with Leeds this year. So you can check that out. We're finished shortly anyway. Stats. Let's get into the actual stats part of tomorrow. Yeah. What can people look out for going into this game?
Well, we are unbeaten actually at Hillsborough in the last 3. 2018-19 drew 1 apiece. Adam Reach got an absolute beauty for Sheffield Wednesday. Mateus Click, pardon me, equalled that with a fantastic equaliser in front of the away end. 0-0 the following season, and obviously we won 2-0. Patrick Bamford and Willie Nonto scored a repeat tomorrow night. Be absolutely brilliant. We're also looking to make it back-to-back away victories at Hillsborough since the year 2000. That time we won 2-0 in 98-99. David Hopkin and Jim Fastbank early doors and David Hopkin in March 99, and in April 2001, 3-0. Hopkin again after 43 seconds. Michael Bridges and an Australian, which I'm not going to name his name because, he leaves a bitter taste. And it's also a very quick return to the Steel City for Jayden Bogle, obviously, who signed from Sheffield United. So he might get a little bit of abuse, I'm sure, from the Sheffield Wednesday fans. And yet again, we're televised against Sheffield Wednesday, which goes all the way back to 91-92 when we were on ITV's The Match and won 6-1. We were then on TV in 94-95, drew 1 apiece. I'm doing this from memory. We were then on TV 3-0. Back in April 2000, off the top of my head. Then 2006, we won 1-0. David Healy scored the penalty on a Friday night in 2012 when Michael Tong scored an absolute beauty. January 2014, we lost the first set 6-0. Horrendous day. That one under Brian McDermott. Also on TV. 2015, 2016, only lost 2-0 that time. Not on TV 16-17. On TV 17-18, lost 3-0 on a Sunday lunchtime. Horrible performance under Thomas Christiansen. And then we've been on TV 18-19 when Click scored 19-20 and 23-24. So it's another game. It's good viewing figure when it's a Yorkshire derby. As I say, Leeds looking to make it back-to-back victories at Sheffield Wednesday for the first time since the year 2000, which I can't believe is nearly 24 years ago.
You have to say that out loud, did you?
It feels it, doesn't it? Where's the time? Where's the time? We'll see. Plenty to chew the fat over, and I think one that you had is Patrick Bamford has got a good record in Yorkshire derbies, and hopefully we'll continue that tomorrow, all being well.
Yeah, if Paddy does manage to score, he'll have scored in 4 of his 5 last Yorkshire derbies, so if he gets on the park, so that would be a fantastic one for him to get as well. And it's nice to have some stats going in our favour, but there's quite a few. Ultimately, 3 points is all that matters. Stats, score prediction, mate. What are you thinking?
I'm going to go for a Leeds win. I think this week has probably helped. I think they've had more time on the training field. It sounds like, obviously, with the Jorginho stuff, to sort of knock the players a little bit ahead of the Middlesbrough game and the West Brom game. Nobody quite knew the mentality of where the squad was at. But I'm going to go a sneaky 1-0 victory, and I'm going to go for a Dan James winner.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to go for 1-0 Leeds. 1-0 Leeds.
Yes, that'll do nicely.
Don't know who's going to score. Probably Pascal, but we'll go with 1-0 and see how we go.
And I believe you've also got a book to give away.
Oh, I do. I'm glad you said that right here. Look, there's 2 of these actually. We are doing a giveaway of Stats book. You can check it out there. I get the angle right. There you go. Leeds United, The Forgotten Games. This is excellent, by the way. There are some beauty in this. You'll find yourself an awful lot going. I forgot about him. You know, you will find yourself doing a lot. But we are going to give away 2 copies. And we do have a question. So there are some rules if you want to enter the competition. Stats, what's the question and how can they enter?
The question is, which Leeds United player in July 2004 scored a penalty against Valencia and was later sent off in that game? So the question is, in July 2004, which Leeds United player scored against Valencia and then was later sent off in that game? And to enter, if you go into the comments below, Leeds United quiz and the answer. So that's the Leeds United quiz in the comments and the answer. And Jay, I think you'll pick out. Are you going to pick out 2 at random?
2 at random, yeah.
To give them away.
Yeah, we'll do that this time next week. At the next preview, we'll do the giveaway. So if you want to find out if you're a winner, you can do it on this video. You can do it on tomorrow's videos, the news videos. You can do it on as many videos as you want. The more comments you make, the more per video. Don't put loads of comments on one video. But if you comment on several videos, you will be in with a chance to win this as well. And I will pull them out next week at random. It's a really good book. There's 2 of them to give away. As soon as you win it, we'll announce it on the stream. I won't contact you in a comment section. I won't email you. I will never do any of that kind of stuff. I will let you know here and then ask you to contact me on the back end of the channel as well. So we'll do it properly. I will never contact anyone and ask you to pay shipping on anything. And I'll never contact you on giveaways directly and ask you for personal information. We'll name you here. I'll put it in the community tab and you can contact me then and we'll get it shipped out to you. So
brilliant.
There you go. So that is the question. You can do it in the live chat. You can do it in the regular chat, whatever way you want. And we'll get the winners announced this time next week. Stats. massive thank you, as always, for joining me, folks. I'm back in the morning for your news on a Friday, last one of the week. And then there will be a countdown before kickoff tomorrow evening, 45 minutes before kickoff. Nothing for the weekend because I'm going to wrestling in London. So I will be all in Wembley. My first time ever going to Wembley. I'm going to get to see wrestling ever. Yeah, I dreamt of going to Wembley. But yeah, I get to go there. And Leeds won't lose. So that'll be a positive weekend for me. So there you go. Folks, huge thanks. Massive. And I will talk to you tomorrow. See you then. Bye.